Hi. Welcome to Newport Power's Resource Center for Training and Development. My name is Ray. Today, we will review procedures for document organization, using standardized naming conventions. In this video, we will guide you through the essential rules and best practices that ensure our documents are consistently named, easy to find, and clearly identified for all stakeholders. This process, and your application of it, is important for efficient workflow of project management, and the smooth communication between you, your colleagues, and our clients. So follow along, as we learn how to apply these simple document naming techniques. Let's start with the general structure of our document naming conventions. As we progress through our training, we will build onto this general structure. But to begin, it's important to remember the components that will form the basis of our naming convention. For commercial projects, the document name will begin with the company name, followed by the street address, and then a brief description of the document's purpose. Lastly, we want to include the date, so that we can later identify a timeline between documents, that will help us determine which document version is old, and which document is current. We can also use the date to identify the time of issuance, or completion. In this example, you can see that we've identified this document as an executed agreement. We want to use unique descriptive terms that quickly and easily identify what the document's purpose is. Some examples of this might include plan set, interconnection agreement, permit, or main panel photo. What other document purposes can you think of? Next, for residential projects, we begin by using the customer's last name, followed by the word residence, and then the document's purpose. Again, we want to enter the date to help us keep track of the timeline. In this example, the document title indicates that this is a signed agreement for a residential project, whose owner's last name is Smith, and was signed on February 1, 2024. As you can see, that's a significant amount of information gained simply from reading the title, and without having to open the document. Imagine the amount of time we will save by being able to see what a document is for, and when it was created or updated, without having to open it. Now, let's take a look at document naming variations and iterations. When a document undergoes multiple revisions or stages, it's important to include descriptive terms for each revision or variation that helps to identify the document's current state, either within a process or within the pipeline. Be sure to include a version number to help identify a sequence in your documents. Here, we use the date as the version identifier to keep track of each iteration. In this example, a document is first created, and then goes through 2 additional stages, each time receiving new descriptive identifiers that help indicate where the document is in our process. This document, which is identified as plans, goes from the working document, identified by the word preliminary, with the updated version date set to March 7, 2024. Once submitted, the document's title description changes to indicate that we are now looking at submitted plans, rather than preliminary plans. The version date is now revised to indicate the date for which the document was submitted. Lastly, the final version of this document is titled with descriptive words, AHJ stamped plans, suggesting that the process this document went through is now finalized, and was received on April 1, 2024. Now that we've reviewed some standard practices for document naming conventions, let's put this into practice, and try an example. Imagine that you've been working on putting together a design layout for a large commercial project, owned by Peter Griffin. Peter's business, Pete's Toy Factory, is located at 444 Spooner Street, in Providence, California. On April 1, 2022, you received the customer's approval on the design layout. Today, April 2, 2022, you submitted the plan set to the AHJ for permitting. What is the appropriate name for the current document? If you answered C, you are correct. The answer is Pete's Toy Factory, 444 Spooner Street, submitted plan set, V0402-2022. Let's try another one. Continuing our previous example, a couple weeks has gone by now. On April 16, 2022, You receive an email from the AHJ requesting clarification and changes to the plan set. They've provided some red lines on the submitted plan set for reference. You download the document, which the AHJ has titled 444 Spooner Street, Providence, Project SP12973.4a, and go to upload it to our CRM. What should you rename the document to best match the situation and our nomenclature standards? If you answer B, you are correct. The correct answer is Pete's Toy Factory, 444 Spooner Street, Corrections Plan Set, B0416-2022. As you can see, the document description has changed to reflect its current status within the project pipeline, and has an updated version date. Great job! Let's move on to the next step. This concludes part 1 of our document naming conventions training. Please continue to the next slide for part 2.